In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, the King of the person of Master Farrakhan, to whom praise is due forever. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his true servant, the arisen and exalted Christ. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is there divine reminder, serving and warning in our midst. I'd like to greet you with the words of peace, paradise, Assalamu alaikum. How are we doing tonight? We want to do or have, as I like to call them, our little fireside chat, our talks, not necessarily lecture, but I call these nights Wednesday night wisdom.
Yes, sir.
So I got that. It was just catchy. Right, it's called Wednesday night wisdom. Because when I first started doing it, we started actually going in depth into the supreme wisdom and taking the questions and kind of parsing them and things of that nature. Then it was like, hey man, this is a great opportunity to go deeper into the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And ever since I've been in the nation, I've always known Wednesday nights to be that night where you go in depth, more in depth into the teachings, because Sundays are more general, because you're also talking mainly to the guests who are there, you know, and you can hit on some things, but you just can't dive to the bottom of the pool on Sundays. And the believers also need reinforcement.
Yes, sir.
Because we are taught that Sundays are actually not even for the believer.
Really? Yeah.
Sundays are not for the believer. Sunday is for the guest. So the believer needs to have their soul and their spirit watered. So it's like Wednesday nights is that time, man, that we can really get into the teachings and ask questions, and as the Supreme Wisdom says, ask questions and learn all about yourself. So tonight is interesting because it comes from y'all know I'm on social media. So this comes from a social media conversation that I was having with our brother Loretta. And he posted a question, and it was a very good question. And I had to think about it for a second before I answered it. You know, so you gotta think 5 times before you speak. And so I tried to at least answer it in that particular vein at that time. But I knew as I was answering the question, it was much deeper than that, you know, the answer that I was giving. So the question was, is it possible if one can alternate between being a part of the 5% and the 85% by our thoughts, actions, and deeds, and not know it? I had to think on that. So the qualifying part is and not know it. Because once you become a part of the 5%, you can't be wishy-washy back into the 85%.
Right.
Because the 85%, they don't know who they are. Neither do they know their origin in this world, right? They out here eating the poison animal and doing all kinds of things. So we can't be 5% and then dip it back over here, even though some of us do it. But he said, and not know it. So he's talking about by our thoughts, you know, and by our actions and our deeds and some of the things that we do. Sometimes we can still have 85% behavior. Sometimes. And he also talked about how, he said the premise of his question was that, he said a lot of us, or most of us, claim to believe that we are the true and living gods, but do not reflect it in our actions, in our everyday life. And we still operate in our daily lives as though we are still waiting on a mystery God to produce things for us. And he's talking about the believers. He said, because even though we all know who God is, we still in one degree or another fear the devil, or or we subconsciously still trying to hold on to his civilization. And that is absolute truth. That's a fact. So my response was, this is a deep question, because the answer is not so simple. It is and it isn't. So I will say it like this. Check it out. Master Farrakhan Muhammad called us Muslims. He called us Muslims because of the nature in which we were created, not because we were actually being Muslims. Praise the Lord, look who happened to pop in. So the Supreme Wisdom states that the student could practice his or her labor while understudying if they were sincere and submit themselves to obey and follow the apostle. So as we continue our development, we are still working on grasping, understanding, and growing in the teachings. Master Muhammad also said to accept your own and be yourself. Not everyone that is a part of the nation has fully accepted their own. Minister Farrakhan said that some of us have one foot in the nation and one foot in the world, waiting to see which one is going to win. Wow. And whoever appears as though they are going to be the winner, that's the side we're going to jump on. So Allah says in the Holy Quran, how long will you waver between two opinions? So it says, I was saying that I believe that fear and a lack of understanding is at the root of us not fully reflecting the teachings. Some are afraid to let go because our security has been planted in this world. Even though there is a lot more to it, I'll say this, and this was the last thing, that we have a lack of belief in ourselves. We believe in Allah, but not necessarily in ourselves. So we don't move out as we should. And the study guides, the minister says that doubt has a chilling effect on movement. So that was the gist of what we were talking about, and I thought it was a very profound question that brother asked. You know, and I was waiting for somebody to get on there and start talking crazy. You know how we do on social media. But as I was going through this, I'm like, man, it started sparking some other thoughts. And it's like, you know what? You don't really find other religions talking like this, asking questions about their fellow believers like this. Why is that? We say that the Christians believe in a mystery God. That's what we say. But do they really? Minister Farrakhan said, do the Christians really believe in a mystery God? Or do you believe in a mystery God? He said, because when the Christians want something, they pray, but then they get up and go to work and make it happen. He said, what do? We pray and pray and pray. Sometimes we don't pray and just expect it to be there. So, who believes in a mystery God? That's a very good question. Jews, you know, they must believe in a mystery God. But these Zionists, they don't even mention God. They don't even mention Jehovah. But yet they run the world. So who believes in a mystery God? But wait a minute. July 4th, 1930. We say we believe that Allah in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, God in person. Now everybody else, all we talked about, the Christians, the Jews, the Hebrews, everybody else in every other religion, they have never met God. Don't really know the true identity of God. And yet they are successful. And I'm not just talking about as a group, I'm talking about a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them on an individual basis is successful. Now, we say that God came and brought you and I supreme wisdom. Uh-oh. I'm glad you brought me on. You know I'm getting the Holy Ghost. Supreme wisdom. Supreme means the highest. So if we have the highest wisdom that's out there, then that means our production should be way up there.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
The more wisdom you have, the greater your productivity is. The less wisdom you have, the less your productivity.
Yes, sir.
That's just basic mathematics, right? All right. So if we have supreme wisdom, we should be out front of everyone else who claims God. Because we say God came to us in particular, raised up his messenger from among us, sent his messenger to teach us, and where are we now? When we compare our productivity to everyone else that claims God, where do we rank?
Good question.
It's not a beatdown session.
Yes, sir. Good question.
It's just for us to take a look at ourselves, you know, and we have to ask ourselves, do I really believe?
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes, Minister Farrakhan said this, in closing the gap, the question was asked, how do you close the gap between the follower and the messenger? And the minister went into talking about, he said, you know, some people come to the messenger when they have a need. And they see in the messenger that need can be fulfilled. So they will follow the messenger as long as that need is still there. But once that need is fulfilled, they now lose interest, and then eventually a gap appears between the follower and the messenger. Not necessarily a bad thing, it's just I had this need, man, and you helped me, you fulfilled it for me, but now I start to get comfortable. Because, you know, that need is met. I don't have no other needs. So the minister says that if the student does not constantly study and constantly stay up with the messenger, then the gap widens and widens and widens. So now we have to ask ourselves the question, what brought us in the nation? And why are we still here? We have to go back to that. Sometimes we just forget. Or sometimes life just gets in the way and we don't really think about it. That's why I love to hear testimonies. Because testimonies bring you back to the why. See, to the real reason why I joined, why I came in. And you can see a pattern of how God has been working in all And so here it is, we say we have supreme wisdom, the highest wisdom, but our productivity is not necessarily way up there. Sometimes we will get individuals who have high productivity, but the rest of the group is lagging behind. Why is that? So, I was looking up an article from the minister, and he touched on this. I'm like, man, all praise due to Allah. And it's from a lecture he did called Fear, Faith, and Truth. If you have not checked that lecture out, you should check it out. He says, our subject today deals with 3 words which represent essentials that will allow us to live life successfully the way God intended for human beings to live. Fear, faith, truth. These 3 words, if understood and acted upon properly, will give us a key to mastering every situation that life could pose. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Man, there's a lot in that. Fear, faith, and truth, if applied properly, will give us a key to mastering every situation. He didn't say some, every situation that life could pose. He says, I want each of us to think about something in life that is troublesome to us. I want us to think about something in our own life that we need to overcome. I want us to think about something in our life that we desire, but as yet have not been able to obtain it. Mastery of the principles underlying each of these 3 words will not only give you the solution to that particular problem that you and I personally may have, but it gives you the key to any problem you will ever face at any time in your life. Whoo, man. So when we hear something like that, we should be like, man, what is that? I need to get into that. If this will help me with any problem at any time in my life, this is what I need. So I want to, before I go way into that, so from the question that Brother Orel had asked, I'm like, okay, so we go into supreme wisdom. And in the supreme wisdom, it talks about the 5%, the 10%, and the 85%. And look at what it says. Who is the 85%? The uncivilized people, poison animal eaters, slaves from mental death and power, people who do not know the living God or their origin in this world, and they worship that they know not what, who are easily led in the wrong direction, but hard to lead into the right direction. Now, that's the 85%. And I hope you all are with me, because we're going to just have to deal with some cold, hard facts. The minister said, your religion is not what you say. Your religion is what you do. So we can say we're Muslim all day long, Christian, whatever, all day long. It sounds good. It just comes off the top. I'm a Muslim. But what do our actions and our deeds say about us? Now, y'all know I'm on social media a lot, because that's my research. I study us on social media. And based on what I see, this is my personal opinion, on Facebook and Instagram, and that's the only two I'm really on. Some of us have some 85% tendencies. Some of us still act uncivilized.
Sir, it's a fact.
That's a fact, man. Just go and look at some of the stuff. We cussing. Putting up videos of half-naked women. All types of stuff for the world to see. Putting our business out, and when someone tries to correct them, they jump on the person that's trying to correct them. Put the nation's business out on social media, and then when you say, well, you know, we shouldn't put nation's business out in the public, then they jump on you for saying it. That's the mark of an uncivilized person. Why this little thing, nap or whatever it is? Maybe they don't like what I'm saying.
Right.
So, as uncivilized people, poison animal eaters. I don't know if we still eating the hog, but y'all know the hog is not the only poison animal, right?
Right.
Yes.
Sometimes we get so caught up in thinking that when we talk about poison animal eaters, it's only talking about pigs. Now, you know, Master Farrakhan Muhammad is very meticulous when it comes to language. So in the Bible, it talks in particular about swine. But it doesn't say swine in here. It could have said swine, but he said poison animal eaters.
Yes, sir.
Well, you all know that Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we weren't made or created to eat meat. And in particular today, just about every animal that's out here is poison. In some way, shape, form, or fashion. We are eating poisons that they put into the food of the animal, that they shoot in the animals, all types of growth hormones and everything. We consume that. So we are still poison animal eaters. If you still eat meat, I'm just saying.
That's a fact, though.
Slaves from mental death and power. So the only way we can be a slave today is if our minds have been sounded. And the only way our minds can be sounded is if we refuse truth and we accept falsehood. All right? Because we can't say nobody keeping the truth away from us today in the information age. We all have information of just about everything that is happening around the globe right now in our pockets. People who do not know the living God. Let's stop on that part. But you say, Master Farrakhan Muhammad is God. Yeah, that's what we say, but do you know that? Do I know that? Do we know that? See? There's a difference between being intellectually aware that Master Farrakhan Muhammad is God and knowing that he is God.
Yes, sir.
Because in order to know he is God, it means that we have and are experiencing him in our personal lives. Boy, quiet up in this joint.
That's heavy, brother.
Take it in.
Yes, sir.
Quiet up in this joint tonight.
Yes, sir.
See, look, we can go to school, right? And I said this before. I graduated from high school with a 3.6 GPA, right? One of the classes I took was computer science. Ask me something about computer science. I know a little something. But if you ask me what I studied in class, there's nowhere in here. Because I was memorizing. I was trying to pass tests. So this is what we do. We cram. We cram for tests. We stay up all night, drinking a bunch of coffee, or whatever it is, trying to stay up to remember the answers for the exam. And then after the exam is over, cool, done. Then we do the same thing again for the next exam. But we don't actually learn the subject. We are aware of the subject. We might be able to hold a conversation with somebody on the subject. But if you ask me, okay, break down this computer and put it back together again, that's a whole different animal. That's a whole different animal. Now I can talk to you about bikes all day long. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, man, you know how many gigs your computer got? Yeah, but you know there's a difference between gigs and megabytes and this, that, and that. But okay, let's actually put this to the test. That's a whole different story. So a lot of us are intellectually aware based on what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said Allah came in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. The minister didn't even say it. The messenger said it. Right? And it was up to us to believe in the messenger. Believe, so if I believe in him, then he said that Master Farrakhan Muhammad came, God came in person, then that must be what it is. So I'm going to live my life based on what another man said. But what happens when we are challenged on that belief? See, that's where it comes out. Check this out. It just brought to my mind in the Supreme Wisdom. Look at what it says here. This is in the instructions to the laborers. Look at what it says. Boy, I'm going to make sure I get this. Oh, I think it right here. Oh, here it is. Why is stress made to the Muslims to copy the minister Elijah Muhammad's answers? The past history shows that the Almighty Allah sends prophets and apostles for the people's guide, an example, and through them his mystery was revealed. And those who followed the apostle would see the light. So the question we have to ask is, are we copying the answers to of Minister Elijah Muhammad? And have we seen the light? See, there's a two-part to that. It's not just copying the answers, but it's seeing the light once we get the answers. Copying this in this instance does not mean just writing something down, but copying means to take into the heart, to make it to become a part of us. And as we go throughout our daily life, we start to act upon that which is in our heart, and now we start to see the fruit of our belief. So if we're not seeing the fruit of our belief, we have to check our belief and our faith.
Yes, sir.
So works, good works, great works, cannot be produced on a lack of faith and fear. All right, we all right?
Yes, sir.
Boy, it's going to be a quiet one up in this door tonight.
Love it, brother.
So look, the minister says fear is natural. If fear is a natural thing, then it is something that we must overcome. And if so, how? According to the dictionary, fear is a distressing emotion aroused by impending pain, danger, evil, whether that pain, danger, or evil is real or imagined. If you become become afraid even of some imaginary thing that has not yet happened, the distressing emotion will still be present. Fear is the feeling or the condition of being afraid. Fear restricts. Whatever we are afraid of, that which we fear makes us insecure. Now wait a minute, what is a Muslim? A Muslim is one who has been made secure. That's what a Muslim is. So if a Muslim is one who has been made secure, and fear restricts, and he said whatever makes us afraid, or he said whatever we are afraid of, that which we fear makes us insecure. So it has the opposite effect on us. And whatever makes us afraid and insecure could cause us to bow. When we are afraid, fear causes us not to think properly. Fear causes us not to act properly. Fear makes you so insecure that you have a tendency to acquiesce, to submit, to surrender to the thing that you are afraid of. And if you acquiesce, submit, or surrender to what you are afraid of, then it becomes a God to you beside God. So a Muslim should fear no one or nothing but Allah. See, that's a Muslim, that's a true believer. Now, sometimes we get a little fearful. It doesn't mean that in our lifetime we won't be afraid of something. Fear is natural. But it's not necessarily the fear itself, it's the overcoming of the fear. It's how we handle the fear that makes us who and what we are. But if we succumb to the fear, then whatever that thing is that we fear, that becomes our God. So therefore, we can only make so much progress. Check this out. The minister said that the Caucasian, his arrogance has put a ceiling on his own development. Think about that. His own arrogance has put a ceiling on his own growth and development, because I think I already know I am God. So therefore now you done catch yourself. You can only go so far. Now if we are afraid of the Caucasian, then his limitation becomes our limitation. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, most of us, check this out, especially black people as a whole, we're not even on the level of trying to get up into his mind when it comes to really an intellectual level. Because we have been made so afraid of white people just on the very base and low level that we won't even attempt to do that which is great.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, if we won't even attempt to do that which is great, we have been put to such a low level that he doesn't even have to really pay attention to us anymore. We sabotage ourselves. See, we handcuff and we arrest our own development, because he has put fear in us when we were little babies. We've grown up with that fear, so even though intellectually we say we believe in God, who came in the person, but really can you say that, Brother Lamar? How can you say that? You can tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. Now look, as I'm saying this stuff, man, I'm talking to myself.
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
I say this every time. Minister Farrakhan said you should never teach a lecture that you yourself do not need. So this kind of like reinforces, it helps me. So that's why I'm glad when we have these type of talks and subjects and topics, because it helps me. So I gotta go back and research and study. I'm like, oh snap, yeah, what you been doing? But I wanted to help all of us, because we should want for our brother and sister who we want for ourselves, right? So this is not for the audience necessarily. It's really for me. I'm being a little selfish, you know? And I thank my brother for bringing it to my attention. And it's all right for us, man, to bring things to our attention. Because sometimes we can get so involved with just life and moving through our life that sometimes we just need our coattail pulled. And we should not get upset with the person who's pulling our coattail. We should thank them. You know? Because we could be on the brink of a pit of fire. And Allah, through our brother, through our sister, can help save us from it. But that's how it works. So, yeah, man, so we sabotage and we arrest our own development because of fear of our open enemy. And check this out. We have been beat down so much, told that we were nothing so much, all throughout our lives. If you had a good idea, somebody told you, nah, man, you need to snap back to reality. Nah, you can't do that, such and such. So we've been beat down so much in life that we are afraid to even step out on something nowadays. So it's like we're in this invisible cage. You know, like those invisible dog fences. They use sound. Some of them use sound, electricity, and things of that nature. And so it's like that's how we are. Brother showed the clip where the scientist had a jar of fleas.
Yes, sir.
And he put a lid on the jar, and the fleas could only jump so high. And he kept them in there for like 3 days. And then they removed the top, and the fleas kept jumping the same height, even though there was no ceiling.
Right.
And they produced offspring that only jumped the same height that the parents were jumping.
Yes, sir.
And that's how we have been for 4 centuries. But when God comes, God frees us from that. But sometimes we still doubt. We may want to believe so hard, and it's not that we don't believe in the God. It's really, I don't really believe in myself.
Right.
That I can do that.
Yes, sir.
You know, I understand. They might be able to do it. She might be able to do it. I don't think I can do it.
Yes, sir. That's the issue right there.
See? That's a heavy thing, man. Because there's the saying, if you believe that you can, or if you believe that you can't, you're right. Isn't that something? If you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. Because it all comes from how we think. And if I don't think I can do something, I cannot do it. But if I think I can do something, then I can do it. Y'all remember the little train? I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. See? I think I can. So, getting a little bit further into this, he says, look, if God made man and woman in his own likeness, then can you imagine God being afraid? I mean, just think about God being afraid of a lion or a bear. How could he be afraid of what he created? So if he is the creator and this is the creature, then he has natural mastery over it if he does not allow what he created to terrify him. Well, then if God is not afraid of anything that he created and you and I are in his image and his likeness, will you tell me, please, how can we justify being afraid of anything in creation? But then he said there's another kind of fear that has reverence to it. And that is the fear of God. He said, once I was out in Arizona, taking a month to fast and pray and discipline myself for this fight with cancer, I was listening to a tape by the Honorable Muhammad. He was saying that God did not make the original man, the black man, to be afraid of anything in his creation. He only made you and me to fear him. And it is the fear of God and God alone that gives you mastery over the creation. But if you don't know God, check this out. But if you don't know God and won't trust God and have faith in God, then things that make you afraid will become your master. That's the key. So we say we know God, but he said if you don't know God, don't know God. And then he says, don't have faith in God. Boy, won't trust God. These three. If you don't know God, we don't trust God, we don't have faith in God, he said that the things that make you afraid will become your master. So what are we afraid of? The Honorable Muhammad said, do something for self. I thought that's what he said. How many people have you heard quote that? How many people have you heard say that? But how many people do you know live that? See, it's being intellectually aware of what he said. You can hold good conversation on what the messenger taught. It sounds good. But then we look at life like, something else there. You know. Now Elijah Muhammad said, buy farmland, grow your own food. Feed yourself, get your teeth out of the white man's kitchen.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what he said. I'm just saying.
That's what we say.
But we still eat in the white man's kitchen. The minister said, all right, I understand. You don't have acres and acres of land. He said, buy a lot.
Right.
And grow some food on the lot. A couple of people did that. Right? Then he said, all right, you don't have a lot. You got a porch, you got something, man. You got, you can buy some pots. Put some herbs or something, man. Do something.
Right.
What's stopping us? See, the thing that's stopping us is right here between our ears.
Sir.
See, is this right here? It's the way we think. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your heart don't think. Your physical heart. The physical heart does not think. The thinking is right here. 2 inches behind your forehead. See? That's where our thinking is. So, when we do the things that we do or don't do the things that we should do, it's based on how we think. And the thing about it is, the minister said, all of us know fights that's going on. It's not that we are not sincere as believers. The minister said, I believe you are all sincere, but sincerity doesn't cut it. All right. So he says, God is worthy to be afraid of. You just have to believe and know that God exists. So it says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So if the fear of God makes you a beginner, then what is wisdom? Wisdom is that which allows you mastery. And you cannot begin to become wise in life if you don't learn the fear of God. Once you learn the fear of God, then nothing in creation becomes able to terrify you. Then you are in the beginner's class of mastery. So he says, I want you to internalize this. Quote, anytime we allow anything to make us afraid and we refuse to challenge our fear of that thing, then we can never be the man or that woman that God intended us to be. Fear will not allow you to be yourself. So we're taught what? Accept your own and be yourself. But fear will not allow us to be ourselves. And what is ourselves? A righteous Muslim. One who is made secure. So fear keeps us insecure, so we're always wondering. We're always stressed out. We're always looking at what can go wrong. See, we're always looking for the worst in things instead of looking for the best in things. We already know I'm going to get this brand new car, and I already know I'm going to get my wreck. Or I already know the repo man going to come and get it. So I'm just going to enjoy it for this time that I had. I'm telling you, that was me. I got a car and I knew how long I was going to have it. For real. For about 3 years, I never kept the car more than 6 months. Because I already knew when I got it, I said, man, I got 6 months to roll this bad boy. For real. And I'm like, and it'll be a car, I'll pay for the car cash. So repo man couldn't come get it, but it'll break down in 6 months. So I'm telling you, 6 months almost to the day, something would happen. That was my thinking. And every time I thought it, it happened. So I'm putting in all of that time thinking negative thoughts. It takes the same amount of energy to put in positive thoughts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because life had been going so bad, rickety, raggedy, and up and down, that was just, I said, this must be my lot in life. Minister Farrakhan said, sometimes Allah keeps a person in struggle their entire life as an example to others. And I say, well, I must be that person. I said, well, Allah, that must be that one. And this is the thing about it. Now, check this out. You know, I know that there's some that be like, Brother Ron's when we talk about that Scientology and Dianetic stuff.
It's all right, right?
But if it works, maybe you should try it. But we're not going to get into that, but there's one thing I wanted to pull out. L. Ron Hubbard talks about agreement. He said the only time something really, and I'm paraphrasing, but the only time something becomes real in your life is when you agree to it. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm the one that Allah's going to put perpetually through trials my entire life. And I agreed with that. And when I agreed with it, it became my life. had about 3 to 6 months before this thing done. So I went into agreement with that. And some of us, we go into agreement with a lot of things. And our life reflects that agreement. And I don't know where we get this thing from that the Muslims are supposed to be poor.
No, sir.
See, the 5% are the poor righteous teachers. Let me read that. See, sometimes we get that twisted. We get that really, really twisted, man.
Right.
Who is the 5% in the poor part of the earth? They are the poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachings of the 10% and are all wise and know who the living God is, and teach that the living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia, and teach freedom, justice, and equality to all the human family of the planet Earth, otherwise known as civilized people. Also are Muslim and Muslim sons. We get that first part, the poor, righteous teachers, and we think that means we're supposed to walk around with no money. See? But it says when the Muslims first started, they were poor. Right? When they first started. We gotta pop this book open, man. The Muslims were very poor when they first started to teach Islam. And all contribution was given to Allah's apostle for him and his family's support. And what the apostle could spare, he gave to help take care of the poor Muslims that were unable to help themselves. And the other part was given to those who were confined to the labor of Islam. Then it talks about, of course, soon there arose an argument among the hypocrites. But then check this out. It says, and then Allah told the laborers, the other laborers, that he would soon enrich all of them. But at present, every effort should be to maintain the prophet and his household. So when the Muslims first got started, yeah, they were poor. They were at the bottom of society. But you can't remain poor with this. They were all wise. How can you be all wise and be poor?
Yes, sir.
Think about that. And they know who the living God is. And they teach that the living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia. And they teach freedom, justice, and equality to all the human family of the planet Earth. There's another part in that. Maybe I'll get into that at another part in time. Because sometimes we get so black, man, sometimes, that we don't really understand our role. We don't want to have nothing to do with anybody else. We are just like the children of Israel in the Bible. See, the children of Israel claim God for themselves, and nobody else to claim their God. And they didn't want to help and deal with nobody else who were not one of them. But the minister said that Jehovah did not raise the children of Israel up to be self-serving. He raised them up to, first of all, get themselves up out of the condition that they were in, but to also be a beacon light for humanity and bring humanity back to the straight path of God. So that's why I said the 5%, they teach freedom, justice, and equality to all the human family of the planet Earth. So some of us, man, we be so 5%, we be so Muslim, so black, that we skip over these certain parts in the supreme wisdom. But anyway, we're not supposed to be poor.
Sir.
All right. Check this out. This is what the God says. After learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics. It stands true. You can always prove it at no limit of time. Then you must learn to use it and secure some benefit while you are living. That is luxury. Money, good homes, friendships in all walks of life. Wait a minute. What do the 5% teach? The 5% teach Islam. They teach freedom, justice, and equality. So wait a minute. If the 5% teach Islam, and Islam is mathematics, and it says that you can't always prove it at no limit of time, then you must learn to use it. What's it? Islam and mathematics.
Sir.
To secure some benefit while you are living. So the 5% are not supposed to be poor, broke, naked, and out of doors. Because they are the all wise. And they know the true and living God. And they teach Islam, which is mathematics. And in order for them to be effective in their work, they have to show it in their own personal lives.
Yes, sir. Testimony.
See? So the 5% supposed to have, and the first, I was kind of taken aback. Because the first word is not money. The first word is luxury. Have you ever defined the word luxury? Somebody pull up luxury. Let me pull up luxury. Luxury is just stuff you don't even need. Yeah, I don't want to pull up luxury, man. Luxury just means you filthy rich. What? But in order to get luxury, you gotta have money. He's saying something. He's saying something. So if the first thing he says is we should have luxury, then it means we got to have some money. U with R-Y, luxury, right?
Yes, sir.
Look at what it says luxury is. A material object, service, etc., conducive to sumptuous living, usually a delicacy, elegance, or refinement of living rather than a necessity. Gold cufflinks were a luxury not allowed for his budget. Listen at this. Free or habitual indulgence in or enjoyment of comforts and pleasures in addition to those necessary for a reasonable standard of well-being. Luxury. A pleasure out of the ordinary allowed to oneself. That's what the God said.
Yes, sir.
We have secured some benefit while we are living. First one is luxury. But you can't have these things unless you have money. Good homes. Friendship in all walks of life. So, we should have, don't try to go get a whole bunch of luxury living in the projects. The messenger said, don't go buy a fancy car until you have a good home to live in. We be seeing Mercedes-Benzes and Bentleys pulled up at the doors in projects.
Right.
Cadillacs sitting on 24s in front of a shack. Come on, man. Don't work. So the Muslim should have a good home. No, it doesn't say a palace. It said a good home. now since I just come back to New Orleans, I'm working on my Rolodex. Because a lot of people that were my friends before gone. So I'm going to make some more friends. But when I was in Monroe for 12 years. And I could walk up the street in a suit, without a suit, and everybody knew me. From the mayor all the way down to the dude hustling on the corner. And the way I got introduced there, it was so beautiful, man. The way I got introduced when I first got there, one of the brothers who was in the ranks, of course, you know, we all come from some not so good background.
Right.
So the brother, he's in the ranks, but he's been through the system.
Right.
So he know everybody, he know all the people, legal people, from being through the system. And then he knew all of the brothers in the hood. So when I got to the city, the first thing he did was he came pick me up and jumped me in the car, and he said, everybody gonna take a ride. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm from New Orleans. That makes no difference to me where we go. So we rolling, and he like rolling. I see these brick, look like apartments. I said, man, what's this is? He said, this is the project. I said, man, that ain't the project. You know, that's the project. He said, all right. He said, cool. But we went into the middle of the projects, parked the car, and then walked. Brothers shooting dice. Brothers doing this, doing whatever they're doing. And they like, yo, what's up, man? What's up? And he's like, yo, what's up? I said, I want you to introduce you to my brother, man. New in town, he's from New Orleans, he's Honorable Minister. Oh, and they're like, man, what's going on? Da. So I get to know first all of the brothers in the streets. That's what I met first. Then he said, now I'm going to take you to the mayor's office and to all the attorneys. And then he took me to the mayor. He took me to all the attorneys. He took me all of the political people. And so I knew the people from the streets to the suites. All walks of life. And me and the mayor didn't hit it off at first, but we cool now. But, you know, but the thing about it is, it got to the point to where if something was kicking off, the brothers in the streets would be like, bro, Minister, you good? You need something? I'm like, nah, I'm good, it's all good. If my car broke down, I didn't have to call the brother in the mosque, I could call the brothers in the streets, and they would come and help me. That's just how it was. So I didn't necessarily have to have a whole lot of money, but I had friendships in all walks of life. I can go back to that city today, and them brothers still know me. The last time we went up there with Minister Farrakhan's granddaughter graduated from Grambling last year, we went up there, and the brother was like, man, what's up, man? It's been a long time I ain't seen you. They still call me every now and then. And these brothers in the streets. So friendship in all walks of life is a must. But look at here, man. What if you meet one of them brothers and sisters in the streets, and you want to talk to them, and they're hungry? You want to take them to go get something to eat, but you don't have no money. Or you want to invite them to your home to fix them something to eat, but you ain't got no home or no money. That's what we used to do. We used to take and bring them to the house and show them what a Muslim family looks like. And we'll sit them down and we ate dinner together. And they'd be like, man, it's nice, man. Y'all invite me into your house. Yeah, so we do, brother. And little things like that paid off. We would have in Monroe every week. We had dinner at a different believer's home. And we just built camaraderie like that. So we'll go to this house next week, and the next week we'll go to that one, and everybody took turns. And I ain't talking about fixing just some soup, I'm talking about like meals. This is what we did just about every week. So once you get the good homes and the friendship and all walks of life, and you got some money in your pocket, you're able to take care of all your bills and you're all good, now you can get a little luxury every now and then. You know? Go get you a little something, man. Y'all walking in the mall, you and your significant other walking in the mall, and she might see a necklace or something that she wants.
That's right.
Woo! Start something, brother.
Yeah.
And then you say, hey, man, you like that? Try it on. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and wrap that up. See? Get that bag. Hey, put in the bag, man. That's how we should be, though. We should be like that. From what I heard and my understand, we are told that like Mama said, that a Muslim or FOI should have $500 in his pocket at all times. And not his bill money. His money. Just in case. Something come up. Hey, we should be able to do that. Brother, Student Minister B.R., he said, brother, you should have a knot in your pocket. A knot. He said at all times you should have a knot in your pocket. But yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. So look, yes sir.
I smell you.
Next slide.
You making some really, really good points, and that they've been like really, really heavy. But while you were mentioning luxury, that was very profound. And the reason I say it is because, I listen to people like Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, Napoleon Hill, etc. And I would say that luxury is not necessarily, I'm not saying that you said this, but not necessarily limited to necessarily tangible objects. Sometimes, say for instance, like traveling outside the country and staying on the beach side.
Absolutely.
Things like that's luxury. That's a luxury. But that also affects the subconscious mind because now you're placing yourself in reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we gotta check that out. See, that's why in the Supreme Wisdom, it makes a distinction between luxury and money. Luxury is not necessarily money. Luxury is a lifestyle. See? So it says luxury can be a material object or it can be a service conducive to sumptuous living. So man, we might live in a nice neighborhood, we okay, middle class, quote unquote, middle class, this and other, and you just saved up your little money, you ain't hurting for your bills or nothing, you're doing good, you save your money up, all right, baby, we're gonna take a trip to Tahiti. Well, you go to Tahiti, man, there's blue waters, green waters, and you living on these little huts over the water, that's luxury. You see? Hey, let's go take a trip to Spain. Let's go to Africa. Let's go to Ghana. That's luxury. See, but you can't have luxury when you still poor, broke, naked out the doors wondering how you're going to pay the light bill. See, a luxury is once all of those necessities of life have been taken care of. Then we can have luxury. See, so, but all of this, luxury, money, good homes, friendship, and all walks of life is based on this.
Yes, sir.
So what is it that the Christians have that we don't have? I don't care what we say, the Christians believe in Jesus. And we tell them Jesus ain't God. What? I don't care what you say, Jesus is God. And I'm proving it because I'm rolling up in this Benz. And I'm going to my 5-bedroom house on the lake. Where you going? With your Allah. See? Not only with your Allah, but y'all worship a man. Y'all say God is a man. So, where your Benz at? I'm just saying how they think. They believe in something. See? We can't dismiss what people believe. So, somebody asked Minister Farrakhan, Brother Minister, we talk about Moses and Jesus and Muhammad. How do we know which one is the right one? It's a great question. The minister said, whichever one makes God real in your life, that's the one. See? So it's not necessarily the name that we call it. It's whether the belief in the one who we're calling on, do we really believe in that one? See? Because if we really believe in the God that we say we believe in, we will take that God on his word and carry out that word so that we can manifest and prove that Allah is God. See, the Christians proving in their mind that Jesus is God. We have to prove that Allah is God, and not just that Allah is God, but that he came in the person, Master Father Muhammad. How do we do that? First of all, we do that by cleaning ourselves up, making ourselves presentable and the opposite of our people, and we go out to save our people. Now, how else do we do that? By going through his word, his teaching, and going through what he said we should be doing and what we can accomplish if we follow him and do that. So in Message to the Black Man, we have a whole program. We have an economic program, we got how you can live, we got a health program, we got a political program, we got all of that. We have the nation's program. So what are we doing with it? See, that's the whole key. That's the whole question, man. Look, do we think that everyone who is not in the Nation of Islam is going to hell? Some Christians think if you're not a Christian, you're going to hell. That they believe. But we already know, man, that everybody who's not in the nation is not going to hell. That don't make no sense. But what it does mean is that, wait a minute, God came in person and chose us himself to be the vanguard, to be the leaders of the new world. So that means we should be at the head. But right now, honestly, just honestly, not necessarily at the head when it comes to productivity. Now, I will qualify that with this. We have the potential to be at the head on what happened to Brother Nipsey Hussle. Right now, the world's attention is on the nation.
Yes, sir.
And we have the opportunity to show that Allah is God. We've already made the outward showing, and the people are going to come. But when they come, they're going to have to see the productivity match what we look like.
Yes, sir.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
That's when this thing gets interesting. Good Lord. We started 20 minutes late. But that's where this thing gets interesting. So when we, just to kind of wrap it up, when we can start to be productive on the inside and show forth, yes, man, if you accept these teachings, this is how they can transform your life and be the example of that transformation. Look, see, the Honorable Minister Muhammad said, do something for self. Yeah, we have businesses, we have this, we have real estate, we have this, that, and the other. And wow, okay, y'all really doing it like that? Yeah, he said, do this and do that. And next thing you know, we are being an example of the teachings. That's what attracts people.
Yes.
They say, from what I understand, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, before he started the economic development of the nation, overheard his neighbors talking. When Elijah Muhammad talked about this, black, that, but I don't see him doing nothing. And that's when he built the house, the palace. He said because black people, they have to see things. Can't just keep talking to them. They have to see something. So as Muslims, I always wondered, how can you have those who are in the nation who lead, right? They lead the nation, form their own organizations, and take all the teachings and become productive with it. What's the brother who
organization.
He was down, that's what I'm thinking. I can't think of it right now, it's gonna come to me. But he's in prison right now. They arrested him and say he was sleeping with his young girls or whatever.
Like, Dr. Malachi.
Malachi York. Y'all know Malachi York was in the nation. Malachi York left the nation, went down to Florida, and created a whole community based on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This man had hotels, school, they lived in a commune, they grew their own food, everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches. Mississippi, there's a brother called the Son of Man.
Mark.
Huh?
Mark.
Yeah, call himself the Son of Man. And they live in a commune, and they grow their own food, and they educate their own children. The exact same thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches. It's like the people who leave the nation go do the stuff. But us who are in the nation, we just talk. What is that? Unity is our key. See, they have a common goal in mind. Some of us we think individualistic. The minister said we suffer from rugged individualism. See? So I have a company, a business, I'm working this thing, and that's it. But the messenger said, there's 5 or 6 of you who have knowledge of the grocery business, pool that knowledge and open up a grocery store. Because we think we're going to lose something. If I bring partners in, you know? Man, what can we accomplish if we united? What can we accomplish if we did some things together? We can buy up this property right in the back of us. It's probably going for hardly nothing because half of them, probably 3/4 of them are empty. But what if we pooled our resources and started buying one at a time? One at a time. And then check this out. As we buy them and we fixing them up and we cleaning them up, we move in them. And the next thing you know, we have a community. And in this community, other people start moving in and we set the example. Now you standing here, man, grass got to be cut, trash got to be picked up. It's clean. Next thing you know, we have a Muslim community and all our people are living there. You see? And that's transformation. That's being an example. It's not just saying the teachings because they sound great. They sound wonderful. You know, faith comes by hearing. That's true. But eventually faith has to be put to works. Faith without works is dead. So to wrap this up, I didn't even get through half the stuff I want to say. But inshallah next week. Inshallah next week. But let us take this and look internally. Let's look at our own lives. That's what, like I said earlier, it's not to be a beat-up session. It's just sometimes, you know, they say the eyes are made to look out and not inward. And sometimes we have to really look in the mirror and say, you know, am I really doing all that I can do to represent the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? And I have to say for myself, no. I can do more, I can do better. And it should be an inspiration to us to want to do that. And then, man, Master Muhammad already knew we was off when he came. He already knew this. Ain't like he's just finding out all the children that they off. No, man. He knew we was off when he came. So he working with us. God, we here. The minister said every day you open your eyes, you wake up, he said that's another day to get it right. So we should thank Allah for giving us the opportunity to see a new day and then work to be better today than we were yesterday. And that's what it is. It's not like we're going to just jump up and make leaps and bounds tomorrow. Just take one step at a time. But make sure the step is forward.
Right.
And when we make sure the step is forward, man, it's all good. And you ain't gonna tell the world what you're doing.
Right.
Do it yourself. Sometimes we tell people our ideas too far in advance. The minister says that new life grows in darkness. And he said, it's like, seeing a clock. He said, who wants to see a clock but an abortionist? He said, because that's what happens. We tell people our ideas, and then they become an abortionist. And they start telling us why we can't accomplish that. Why we can't do this. That's unrealistic. And all they're doing is throwing their limitations on you. So, now, man, let that thing, the minister said, let that idea develop in the darkness of your mind. And I say there's one thing when we close out. I used to always call our regional minister and say, yeah, minister, we're about to do this in the city, and we're going to be doing that in the city, and I'm going to let you know when we're doing this in the city, and we're going to be da-da-da-da-da. And he used to be like, yes, sir, brother, yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. He would never discourage me, but I would always call him and tell him what we're about to do in the city. And then one day he said, that sounds good, brother. He said, but I would rather you call me and tell me what you have done.
Sounds much better.
Yes, sir.
See? Because all the stuff I was telling him we were going to do, we actually never did it. He said, but it's going to be better whether you call me and tell me what you've done. So that's a word to the wise, a hint to the wise. It's sufficient. Have our ideas grow. But we have to pull together. Most of us don't even know what the other believers do. We don't even know what the other ones do. Right here among us. So we get together, find out what each other does, man, and then say, oh, snap, well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm interested in that. Maybe you can help me with such and such. And now we networking right within the mosque. Next thing you know, man, this thing blowing up. Like, man, what's happening in New Orleans? Unity. We working together. So sometimes we look like we're together, but not necessarily together. We all got uniforms on. It looks good, but when the meeting is over, we say, Assalamu alaikum. Everybody going their separate ways. I remember days we used to be in the mosque there for a while, but night we used to be here till 5 in the morning, just talking. Now I ain't saying we'll do that, but it was just, that's what we did. We'll go soldiering on Saturday morning. After we finish soldiering on Saturday, we all get together and go to the coffee house and sit down and have coffee and talk about our day. We'll do that. So we just have to find a way to build some camaraderie with one another, find out what each other does, and then start to work towards just being an example. And the first thing we do is be an example in character and in integrity, keeping our word. The minister said, that's why, he said, you know why God is God? He said, because God is dependable. I'm like, man, what? And that was the most profound thing I ever heard in my life. He said, the reason God is God is because God is dependable. His word never fails. You can always call on him. He never changes. He said, but us, on the other hand, we're kind of wishy-washy. Can't always depend on us. So we have to be like him. We have to start making our word bond. And just bam, 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 and then we be like